Namo Bhagavate. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for joining today. We wanted to seek the blessings of Radha Madhav, Radha Shyamsundar, Radha Damodara, Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Gaurita, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees, so that we can share a few pastimes of Damodara Leela. So yesterday we looked at how Yashodamayi was churning the yogurt, looking out for the milk that was on the stove, and also looking at Krishna, making sure that he if he was up, then she would attend to him. So he was still sleeping. He started to slowly stir. And peering through squinted eyes, he took in the scene of his mother's churning. He was actually amazed by her devotion. His heart swelled with love and joy. The love radiating from his mother had entered his eyes and shone into his heart, where it was creating a festival of bliss. So when we are away from the Lord, and on the basis that we've forgotten him and don't care and all that, he cares for us. And this is a little portion of how Mother Yashoda is feeling towards Krishna. When we have even that tiny portion, Krishna gets a festival of bliss from us. And he's missing that. He's missing that. And that is why he comes to our world, to reawaken our love for him. He loves us already. So, but we are denying him this festival of bliss. Can you imagine, how much effort he puts in? He comes with us everywhere in this world, just to guide us, just to protect us. Why does he do all of that? Because he wants us back into his world. He wants to enjoy this festival of bliss with us, just like he's enjoying with Mother Yashoda. But of course, the relationship between Mother Yashoda and Krishna is completely unique and different and amazing. But we all have a relationship with God. This is the point. And we are missing out on that relationship. And so is the Lord. And that's why he makes this effort of trying to reestablish, reconnect with us. Anyway, he was ready to crawl out of bed to embrace her. But at the same time, he was relishing, enjoying seeing his mother's full glory of devotion. Because while she was churning, she was singing bhajans about him. Whilst she was taking so much care to serve him by making first-class makhan. His mother glanced over to see if his darling son was awake. He quickly closed his eyes. She thought, let him sleep a little longer. After all, he's been very busy. She doesn't know how busy. And also the butter was not quite ready yet. Mother Yashoda continued her service and became completely engrossed in meditation upon her gorgeous little son through singing about his glorious pastimes. Now, these bhajans are not given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, although Sukadeva Goswami does refer to them. But Jiva Goswami, in his book, Gopal Champu, has given these bhajans. So we won't sing them. We'll just go through the English. My dear son, my dear darling son, you are the crest ornament of the dynasty of Gokul Pati, Shri Nanda Maharaj. The Brajavasis must have performed greatly pious acts to witness you bringing joy to their hearts. Your activities delight the eyes of all. So these bhajans, when she was singing, was really pleasing the Lord, much more than the yogis who do meditation, or even the bhaktas who do the offering of samagri to the yajna. These bhajans actually catch the attention of the Supreme Lord, because they're very intimate and they come from the heart of the pure devotee. You rouse the joy of cowherd community by the blissful festival of your birth, and by the recent and auspicious act of killing Putana, you have spread the glory of your father, the king of Gokul, far and wide. After eliminating Sakatasura, who made everyone lose all composure, you were blessed by the auspicious rituals of the Brahmins. Later, Sri Nand, worshipable deity, Parameshwar, returned you to us after destroying Trinavarta along with his storm. So in this bhajan, you can see she's not necessarily accepting that Krishna is the one who defeats the demons. She's just saying, yeah, you're amazing. But the worshipable deity, Parameshwar, is the one who destroyed Trinavarta. O lotus-eyed boy of incomparable piety, you used to crawl about on your tiny hands and knees in our charming courtyard. You have shown great expertise in playing various games and demonstrating many varieties of dance. When you used to grab the tails of the calves, they would run away, dragging you along. At these times, your gorgeous form was pulled through the dust and cow dung. This is the Vrindavan dust, which is touchstone, valuable, spiritually valuable, which gave you an even more enchanting splendor. So he looked good anyway, but the Vrindavan dust makes him look even better. This is the glory of Vrindavan dust. While playfully quarreling with the elderly gopis, you would frivolously increase everyone's confusion through your antics. So this is Krishna. He was particularly smart at causing quarrels and quarreling with the Brijavasis. Of course, in fun, in increasing their ecstasy, increasing his own ecstasy by their reactions towards him, because they loved him for whatever he was, whatever he is. They didn't care. He might be God, he might not be God. We don't care. He's our Krishna. He's our beautiful Gopal. Oh Krishna, since I am your mother, forever continue to expand my already boundless joy. Quickly grow healthy and strong. Fulfill our desire by delighting our eyes with your many lively pastimes. At first, you caused bewilderment by displaying the three worlds within your mouth. Later, however, it was understood that by doing so, you confirmed the existence of Lord Vishnu's spiritual illusory potency, Vaishnava-maya. O Krishna, may your body be free from aging and death. May you become the bestower of bliss by serving Sri Hari. So even here, even when she was shown the universal form, she's saying actually it was Lord Vishnu's illusory potency. Nothing to do with you. He's her baby. And that's the way he likes it. He wants to remain her baby because the relationship between mother and son is so glorious. So she would sing bhajans like that and he would enjoy. In that deep absorption of Krishna, she even forgot. So she was so absorbed in these bhajans and meditation of Krishna that Krishna was sleeping, that she was churning butter, that they were inside the palace as she sang the glories of her son. She was just in ecstasy, not even realizing the external situation. So this is actually pure bhakti yoga, pure devotional service, where one is just completely mind, heart, intelligence is just focused on Krishna, and nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. There you go. She's just completely absorbed in the glory of her son. And this is the place. This is the darshan of the Ukal Bandhan Leela in Gokul, Stali Madhavan. So this is where it actually took place. This is the place and the same 5,000-year-old Ukal hand grinding vessel on which Mother Yashoda bound Lord Krishna with ropes, still there. Her voice rising higher and higher, accompanied by her orchestra of ornaments. So she had an orchestra, the earrings and the bangles, and the swish, swish noise of the churning. That was the orchestra. It was something very amazing. She mistakenly thought she was in the courtyard making peace between Krishna and the neighborhood gopis while singing about this pastime. Lost in another reality, Yashodamayi so fully experienced Krishna's presence that she drew him into her meditation, and by doing so made him even unsure, made even him unsure where he was. Was he sleeping? Or was he in her thoughts? Krishna thought to himself, am I in bed or am I in her thoughts? This is the pure bhaktas can achieve this. There is a pastime of one amazing personality who was meditating how he was making kheer, one of the 6 Goswamis in fact, making kheer for the Supreme Lord. And he offered it to the Lord, and just he wanted to check if it was too hot for him to eat. So he put his little finger in just to test the heat of the sweetness. And suddenly he had to wake up because his finger was burnt. So they're so absorbed in this meditation, they're actually living that in reality. So she was similarly in a different reality. So much so she even drew the Lord into that reality. So this is beyond our understanding, really. But finally, no longer able to tolerate the distance between them, driven by the desire to show his love for Mother Yashoda, and also desirous to drink her milk, Krishna sat up and with tears flowing from her eyes, issued a stream of crying sounds calling, "Mother, mother." Although brought back to reality, Yashodamayi still remained captivated by the pastimes of her songs about her naughty son. Krishna couldn't believe it. I'm right in front of her. I'm calling out to her. Yet she's still absorbed in my bhakti, singing about myself. Krishna, however, was beside himself, still seated in bed. He screamed, "Mother!" Spontaneously, he looked around, searching for his close friends, but they were absent. Everyone was preparing for Diwali. Looking again to his mother, his heart swelled with love to see her ride the relentless surf of oceanic love for him. He thought to herself, I must get up, stop her churning, and drink the milk of her breasts. Even the temptation of the ladus, which were calling out to him, because the ladus are awake, they're spiritual beings. They're calling out to Krishna, "Hey, I'm here. Come and have me. If you're hungry, have a laddu." But the temptation of the ladus could not allure him from the special affection he cherished from his mother. His hunger became intolerable. This is the Lord who is Atmarama, is self-satisfied. But he's not satisfied in another sense, because when the bhakti of the devotee encounters him, it brings in him this great thirst to drink that bhakti. He cried out again to her. His mother, so engrossed in singing his pastimes, did not hear him. Krishna paused for a moment and thought to himself, and informing this personification of prema, love. So this is another thing which is quite very, very interesting. Love is also a personality. And Krishna communicates with that personality. Love is somebody who creates interaction between the devotee and the Lord. So he's speaking to this love personification. Today, I want my mother to achieve the pinnacle of motherly love. I do not know what it is like to be bound by the rope of my devotees' love. I want to feel the devotees' love, not just with my heart, but with my entire being. And especially, I want to feel my mother's love. So this is the message he's sending to Prema Bhakti. This was the perfect opportunity. He was alone with his mother. If somebody else had been there, they would have interfered with Krishna's plans. For example, Rohini would never have let Yashoda bind Krishna with rope. Nor would have Nand Maharaj. So they were all absent. This was the perfect time. Climbing down from his bed, still sleepy-eyed, only wearing a kopin, he tottered in the direction of his mother, softly weeping. Finally, Yashodamayi came to full consciousness, external consciousness. From the corner of her eyes, she saw Krishna approach, eager to relish his moods and movements. She did not greet him. She knew what he's like. He'd always have some new, something fresh he would say to her, or he would do some sort of wonderful, charming relationship he would have with his mother. So she did not greet him. She wanted to wait, see what he's up to. Waited until he stood beside her, stretching his body, rubbing his eyes, murmuring, "Mother, mother." Yashodamayi didn't respond, still continuing her service to make makhan. Now this upset Krishna, upset at being spurned. Krishna grabbed at the folds of her sari with one hand. With the other, he caught hold of the churning rod. So one hand he got hold of sari, and the other hand he got hold of the churning rod. So then that brings us on to text number 4 of 9th chapter, 10th canto.
Sanyakama sadhya mathanatim jananinari kritvadadim manthanam yasadatitam avadan. Translation: while Mother Yashoda was churning butter, Lord Krishna, desiring to drink the milk of her breast, appeared before her, and in order to increase her transcendental pleasure, he caught hold of the churning rod and began to prevent her from churning.
So he stopped her from churning. Yashodamayi greeted her, "Lala, oh my dear beloved, you are awake, how wonderful." But she still continued to churn. Krishna placed his other hand on the churning rope and made it known he wants to drink her milk. Charmed by her son, Yashodamayi embraced her darling son, placed her hands under his arms, and raised Krishna to her lap. Gazing for a moment at the indescribable beauty of her son, she drank that beauty through her eyes and was about to nurse when she stopped and pondered. Why does my son look so different, so beautiful, and in ways I've never seen before? This is the beauty of Krishna. His qualities are always expanding. He's full of his own quality, but they're always expanding at the same time. There's always a competition between Krishna and his qualities. His qualities are expanding, Krishna is expanding, but his qualities expand even more. And the devotees who are close to him can realize this. Why does he look so different? Has he changed in some mysterious way? Or is it I have never really looked at him so deeply? Is this really Krishna? It appears he was made of blue lotus and scattered with different beautiful flowers. She drank in the nectar of his face. All this time, Krishna is waiting, right? Krishna raised the soft petal of his hand and touched the cheek, her cheek, so being assertive, and said, "Mother, I am hungry." Reprimanding herself why she was being so selfish, enjoying her son instead of serving him, she said, so there you go. "Poor thing, my darling, my little darling, you must be hungry after sleeping so long." Well, Krishna had fasted all night, and he said, I am very hungry and I'm very angry. Yashodamayi, soothing Krishna's hair with her hands, asked, why are you hungry? Oh, you're gone.
Why are you angry?
Because you are churning butter instead of giving me your milk. If you hadn't stopped, I would have broken the churn.
Oh dear. But darling, the butter is meant for you.
That may be, but the butter is for later. I am hungry now.
Yashodamayi, marveling at his intelligence, so he's only 3 years old, teased him. Then why are you talking? Why don't you drink?
The milk poured out from her breast into the Lord's mouth. Sometimes a little milk would spill from the edge of Krishna's mouth, and Yashodamayi would try to wipe the drops from his face with the edge of her veil. Text number 5.
Kaman arudam paya sanam snehasnutam sasmitam ikshati mukam atraptam utsrijya chavana sayaya utsijya mane payasi twadishrite. Translation: Mother Yashoda then embraced Krishna, allowed him to sit down on her lap, began to look upon the face of the Lord with great love and affection. Because of her intense affection, milk was flowing from her breast. But when she saw that the milk pan on the oven was boiling over, she immediately left her son to take care of the overflowing milk. Although the child was not yet fully satisfied with drinking the milk of his mother's breast.
Okay, so this is where trouble starts. So she's feeding him. Seeing the mark of Srivatsa and the sign of Lakshmi on his chest, she would try to wipe them away as well, thinking them to be milk, but she would not be able to. She would be whispering, "You are such a mysterious little boy." In the mundane world, the infant is the recipient and the mother the benefactor. But in this sacred exchange, the material, original material relationship, maternal, sorry. Thank you. Krishna fully reciprocated with Mother Yashoda, giving as much as he was taking and perhaps even more. So Yashodamayi was getting more out of this relationship. Normally the mother would give, but here she was actually receiving. What was Krishna giving? How was he doing it? Simply by Krishna's touch, Yashodamayi's bliss increased immeasurably. Krishna also entered his mother's heart, wherein he not only felt the bliss he was enjoying, but also the love for her that he was radiating. As a result, they both became ensnared in a kind of spiritual rivalry in which each spontaneously outdid the other in mutual offering of ever-ascending love, culminating in each thinking the following. So Yashodamayi would think,
I should die if I'm ever separated from him.
How could I ever be without her? At that very moment, the personified Prema appeared to open a new chapter in the transcendental loving pastime between eternal mother and the divine child, a chapter which would be glorified by countless sages in countless books and give tremendous joy to the devotees of the Lord. So this is now the Damodara Leela that's going to take place. And it's such an amazing Leela. The whole month we celebrate this. This is one pastime. And many, many books have been written by the 6 Goswamis and others. And in the Bhagavatam, 2 whole chapters are dedicated to this Leela. So it's such an important Leela. This pastime is so important, cherished. It is celebrated for a full month, not just a day. There was suddenly an emergency. The personality of milk, saddened to think that Krishna will not require her service. After all, how can one compare to the ambrosial milk flowing from Yashodamayi's breast into the lotus mouth of the Lord? In desperation, the milk decided that she could no longer live if her service to Krishna is made redundant and started to boil over and jump into the fire. So everything is alive in the spiritual world. Even the milk is a living entity, fully conscious and ready to serve the Lord. When the milk saw that, how will I ever get an opportunity to serve my Lord? Mother Yashoda is serving him with her breast milk. So the milk thought, there's no chance. I might as well forget about life. The maid had put too much wood on the fire. That's the external reason. The stove became too hot and the milk was boiling over. Yashodamayi saw the milk was about to overflow. She lifted Krishna from her lap and placed him on the floor. With that, she raced off to the kitchen. Wow. She dropped Krishna and ran to the kitchen. That is amazing. That is amazing. She had the Supreme Personality of Godhead on her lap, yet she left him and she ran to save the milk on the stove. Krishna was shocked, feeling hungry and neglected. He bit his lower lip and stamped his feet in anger. After fasting all night, here he was, teased with a few drops of milk and then abruptly deprived of more. His stomach was pained with hunger, and at the same time, he was deprived of his mother's love, a double whammy. Anger arose within him. He began to grow like a lion club. After all, he is Nrsingadev. Philosophers have argued, did Mother Yashoda do the right thing? She dropped Krishna to attend to the milk. She had to attend to the milk quickly and would have been encumbered by her son if she carried him along with her. She could have dropped Krishna if she had carried him hurriedly to the kitchen. Is it reasonable to abandon one's hungry son for a pot of milk? This is an interesting question, especially when we are surrounded with Braja's milk-soaked pastures. And is this reasonable that this act was perpetrated by one who is known as the presiding deity of affectionate mothers? Others argue that for Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, their homes, bodies, relatives, lives are fully dedicated to Krishna. They consider everything to be his. Similarly, the milk is meant for Krishna. It is even more important than Krishna. What? How can that be? Yashodamayi decided that Krishna's interest would be best served by saving the milk, even at the cost of his being hungry. So sometimes we may be confronted with two equally important services to do. So one must attend to one of them at the cost of the other. So for a devotee like Yashoda, the proper intuition on how to make such a decision is given to him by the Lord through the heart. How can she be at fault? However extraordinary her actions may appear to us. She dropped Krishna to get the milk, to save the milk. So Krishna inspired her. Prema inspired her. We must remember in these pastimes, Krishna is simultaneously fully cognizant of his Godhead. So he's completely aware of himself, but he's also fully absorbed in his identity as a child. It is not that Krishna's consciousness oscillates between omniscience and innocence. He's always both. He's omniscient, he's aware of himself, but he's also, at the same time, a small baby, little child. They are parallel states of existence in which neither obstruct the unique mood of the other. Just as the Ganga and Yamuna rivers flow in the same riverbed without mixing. This is in Prayag. We can see the Yamuna on this side, the Ganga on this side. They're both traveling together without interfering with each other. So Krishna's mood as the all-knowing Supreme Personality of Godhead, the omniscient Lord, is preserved. At the same time, his mood as a little baby exists in parallel. They don't interfere with each other. Very, very difficult for us to understand this condition. But this is where the Supreme Lord is. That's where he can do that. So we have now Srimad Bhagavatam, text number 6 of the 9th chapter.
Sanjate kopaspuratarunnataram sandasya tadavidadi manta vajanam vidva mirshashu drishad asmanaraho jagha sahaya gahavam antaram gataha. Translation: being very angry and biting his reddish lips with his teeth, Krishna, with false tears in his eyes, broke the container of yogurt with a piece of stone. Then he entered a room and began to eat the freshly churned butter in a solitary place.
So his naughty behavior has now extended itself to his home. He never was naughty at home. He was always very carefully behaved because he knew Yashodamayi was strict. So Yashodamayi demonstrated the quality exhibited by an exceptionally qualified devotee, that to serve Krishna, devotees would agree to be separated from him. This is really powerful. Only because it pleased him would Yashodamayi let Krishna herd calves in the forest at such a young age. Right? Yashodamayi really would miss the Lord when he wasn't at home. He was in the fields herding the calves at such a young age. But she let him go to please him. So sometimes devotees become separated. Why did Prabhupada leave Vrindavan to serve the Lord? Why would you leave the most holiest place in the world, and especially the most amazing temple in the world, Radha Damodara temple, which is regarded to be the hub of the spiritual world? Why would you leave and come to the West, where there was no Krishna consciousness, to please Krishna? Only because Krishna wanted to deliver Vasudeva and Devaki would the Brijbasis allow him to go to Mathura. While separation between lovers is generally painful, it was different with Krishna and the Brijbasis. When Krishna was distant from the Brijbasis, externally they behaved as if they were being poisoned. However, the internal reality, what the Brijbasis felt, was entirely different. When separation appeared devastating, it actually caused feelings of unprecedented bliss. Again, something for us very hard to understand and to appreciate. But we have to accept it at face value. And the same also applies to Krishna. When he was in the forest, Krishna's heart yearns for his mother's touch. When in Mathura, Krishna would cry for the Brijbasis. While sleeping beside Rukmini, he would call out Radha's name. At those times, Krishna's suffering was so extreme that it frightened his associates. Yet at the same time, within himself, Krishna felt unprecedented happiness and bliss, overpowering heartache, intense longing, unrelenting hope were catalysts that transformed his suffering into ecstasy. So now Krishna was feeling separation due to neglect, and from those thoughts emerge feelings of anger, of love. This, together with the knowledge that Yashodamayi's experience of bliss out of separation from her darling son would exceed his own bliss, his mounting anger finally erupted. A shower of hot, angry tears issued from Krishna's lotus eyes. Were these tears real or false? From scriptures, we know that the Lord is always satisfied within himself, Atma Rama, and that he knows neither hunger nor thirst. So is it not contradictory to say Krishna is hungry and angry? So is he now pretending to be dissatisfied and angry in order to nourish the paternal love of Mother Yashoda? So the gurus, they say Krishna is not acting. Remember, there's two parts to Krishna: the all-knowing and the baby. They both are present equally. Dependence on his parents is a feature of his essential identity. From that dependence sprouts the inspiration by which he becomes the father of all living entities, hence their maintainer, Janardhan. Krishna is the original feature of Godhead, not an expansion of Narayan. Therefore, whatever moods and gestures we see him express are spontaneous. They're not a show. Krishna was looking for something to vent his anger on. So he was really angry. Doesn't have to be angry, but he was angry. And he was enjoying that anger. It was a different level of ecstasy. So we can stop there and hopefully continue. Probably not tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got a Diwali function and we're going to be a little tied up. So tomorrow, no satsang, and we will continue on Sunday. I hope that's okay for the devotees. Any questions, any comments?
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna to all the devotees, Mataji, and happy Diwali and happy New Year to all of the family. This is not a question, it's just telling you, just general telling you that you said the milk decide to come out from the pot.
Yes.
When it was boiling.
Yes.
But and you said milk has is alive.
Yes.
And I was just thinking, why? How can you say milk is alive? I mean, I've got milk on my gas cooker.
Yes, yes.
I'm doing other jobs, and milk can all of a sudden come out. I mean, it can go on the fire.
Yes, no, absolutely. You're right. But this is the spiritual world. Everything is alive. Even the bed that Krishna is sleeping on is alive. Even the churning pot is alive. And it's telling Yashodamayi, don't worry, I will churn. You relax. Everything is alive. Around Krishna, in the spiritual world, there's nothing material at all. In this world, there's a distinction between spirit and matter. But in the spiritual world, there's no distinction. It is just spiritual. And for us, it's hard to understand. I know. Very difficult to understand.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
Carry on. Carry on.
But that's the whole thing about the spiritual kingdom. Everything is alive. Everything has consciousness. Nothing is matter.
So what's happened after that? Like the Yashodamayi put the Krishna on the floor, and she goes and stops the milk, which was already come out.
That's right.
And does the Krishna go back to mother to feed?
No. That's what we're going to talk about on Sunday now. Next part. Yeah. So we'll carry on the next part. What he actually, in very brief summary, he breaks that churning pot. He starts eating that yogurt in there, or the makhan, and then he breaks into the storeroom and he steals a pot from her mother. And at the same time, he's very scared because his mother can come at any moment, and he's frightened of mother.
Right. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So, Shri Radha Damodar ki jai, Yashoda Damodar ki jai, Kartik Mas ki jai.